Welcome to the City of Phear. I'm your host, Brendan Jordan, and whether you're new to the city or a returning listener, I welcome you with open arms. Come on in, take a seat, have a drink, and stay for a story. This week, I've got a continuation of the private practice horror stories I got started in the first episode. This one's about a dirty habit that I hope to kick one day myself, those nasty cigarettes. So let's get right into it. I present to you Private Practice Horror number 2, Phil Exhales Ghosts. Sketchy. It's the best word for this situation. I find myself a couple miles from my house in a real bad side of town. It's the middle of the night, rain pouring down, and just staring down a dark alleyway. Passed a bunch of suspicious characters on my way here, and now it's cold. My socks are soaked in my wet shoes, and I'm not quite sure what I'm looking for. I keep checking over my shoulder to see if the creepy guys I passed at the last corner are just gonna, creep up on me and try something. I keep hearing strange clicking sounds. I'm not sure where it's coming from at this point. I can't even place the direction exactly. I hear a rustling sound come from the dumpster down the end of the alley, and my blood runs cold. I try to think about all the events that led me here tonight. So I'm sitting in my office across from a new client, Phil. Middle-aged guy who looked pretty gritty. Short, stocky, muscular, balding up front with gray and light brown hair on the sides and a big goatee. He was a construction worker who in our first session had explained his wife had kind of forced him into therapy due to his anger issues. Always had a bit of a temper, but of course I'm angry. She's been on my back for the last couple of years about quitting smoking. I've tried a few times on and off. It's hard, you know? She's never smoked, so she doesn't have a fucking clue. Yeah, I'm a smoker too, with a few failed quit attempts myself, so I definitely hear you on that one. If you've never been hooked, there's no way you can truly understand how hard it is. Well, I'm glad you at least see that. Not so sure how you're gonna help me though, if you haven't been able to give it up yourself. That's understandable. Sometimes we're better at preaching than practicing, if you get what I mean. Everyone's got the ability to stop in their own time and when they're ready. And hopefully that's, the case for you. I can't promise I can give you a one-size-fits-all miracle trick, but I know a lot of techniques have been helpful for a lot of folks. Well, Brennan, I think you might be a little too late, as I think I got one on my own, unless I'm just going batshit insane. I read online that a good way to quit smoking is to change to a brand that you hate and smoke those for a while. Yeah, that's certainly not the best way, but if you can find one that hits the nicotine fix but you don't enjoy it the same way, you can start to undo some of the positive associations with smoking, which, for some people can break the habit. I got these random ones from the bodega by my house, he says as he shows me a pack with gold trim and blue lettering. You ever heard of this brand? I looked closely at the pack and saw the fancy lettering reading Stockton's Blend. You know them? I think they're some kind of European brand. Tastes like shit. Can't say I have. I've been to Ireland a handful of times and gotten a couple of non-American packs and always regretted it. Yeah, worse than the cheapest we got here. Well, I was hesitant to smoke these as I like my usual brand. I wasn't ready to really try to quit just yet, and was pretty heated with Mrs. for continuing to put the pressure on me. I was pretty tuned up one night, a couple weeks ago. Sorry I forgot to mention this last week, but I was there, I was getting tuned up, and I couldn't find my pack. I looked all around the house and started freaking out. Eventually, I gave up and went to grab one of these packs from the carton. I lit up a smoke in the basement of our house and, I started hearing things. What kind of things? Strange things. First, it sounded like whispers I could barely make out. Then it got louder. I couldn't quite make out what it was at first. What do you make of that, Phil? Well, I wasn't sure at first. I kind of thought there might be something wrong with the cigarettes, like they were laced or something. Then I thought I might have that schizophrenia thing, but I don't have multiple people inside me or anything like that. Well, the multiple people thing is actually something completely different from schizophrenia. That'd be dissociative identity disorder, but hearing things that aren't actually there is something that can line up with the diagnosis if a few other things that are happening at the same time. Have you ever experienced anything like this before? Me? No, never. How often has this happened? Since that first time? Well, too often to count. Thing is, I'm not just hearing things now. I'm starting to see things too. Whenever I smoke these damn things, I'm starting to see people talking to me, trying to tell me things and stuff. Well, what kind of things are they telling you? I don't know. I try not to pay attention. Figure it's just my imagination or just being in a bad mood from the boss riding my ass and all. They're laying off people left and right, and it's got me pulling my hair out. Not an easy time to give up the smokes. Yeah, it's really hard to try to quit when you're in the middle of something super stressful. But on the other hand, there's always going to be something stressful and some excuse. Yeah. I've heard it all before. This is weird, man. It's like I'm seeing people or ghosts. They keep telling me to do things. All kinds of things. Crazy things. Like what? I don't know. I try not to pay attention. One was trying to tell me to kill his boss, which honestly, if I didn't think I was going crazy, I kind of felt sympathetic to. One kept asking me if I remembered to take out the trash. One was pretty bossy herself, asking me to take my shirt off and give her a show. Jiggled his belly and laughed. I was a few beers deep and I did it. It was late and I was in my backyard. I didn't find any dollars in my waistband though. Talk more about Phil's experiences before calling it a night. He didn't seem overly distraught, assured me he wouldn't act on any of the more violent commands he was getting. I talked to him about schizophrenia and what that might look like. While it wasn't completely unheard of, it's pretty rare for the onset to hit someone at his age with no prior symptoms and no family history. Encouraged him to lay off the smokes if he could, at least this new brand, in case there was something chemical or something he was reacting to. Left the office for the day and we scheduled for the next week. Finishing up my paperwork and packing up, I noticed he had left his pack of cigarettes on the couch where he was sitting. It's probably too far away to catch him and give them to him. I'll just put these in the desk for him to grab next week. And that's what I did. 1 week later, I had a hell of a day. It was raining in the morning and the bus that usually takes me to my full-time job had a cancellation. The driver must have called out, so I stood in the rain for 45 minutes waiting. When I did get to the office, I had a combination of people canceling on me last minute, other sessions that were just over-the-top stressful for reasons I'm not going to get into right now. When I got back to my neighborhood and headed towards my office for the private practice clients, I was rushing through the rain as I ran the few blocks from where the bus left me off. My first client no-showed. Damn it. I didn't need to be in such a rush. I could have stopped to grab some dinner. I was pretty hungry. Phil was my next. I waited the hour until Phil's scheduled time. About 10 minutes before, I went outside for a smoke so I could, get it in before the appointment. I saw that my pack was empty. Damn it. I realized how much I had been smoking throughout the day. Felt a bit edgy, but I figured I could make it through the next session at least. It was my last for the day. I hit up the convenience store somewhere along my walk home. About 5 minutes before our scheduled time, I got an email from Phil. Sorry, Brendan. Got caught up at work. Have to cancel for tonight. I'll see you next week. I slammed my head down on my desk. Would have been nice to know that an hour ago, so I could have just gone home. Start to pack my things up, and then make a very, very stupid decision. Now, I'm usually a pretty smart guy when it comes to stuff like book smarts. Like, I think I'd do pretty well if I ever got on Jeopardy. But I've also got no common sense half the time, and do some pretty dumb things without thinking. This time, well, it was one of them. I pulled Phil's pack of Stockton's Blend cigarettes out of my desk and carried them out with me. I figured, you know what? I'll buy him a pack or put a few cigarettes in before I see him again. I needed one, and he kinda owes me for canceling with only a few minutes' notice. So as I start the walk back to my house from the office, I light one up. He was right. It tasted like dirt. But desperate times call for desperate measures. As I walk down the street listening to some music with my headphones on, walking beneath my umbrella to shield me from the rain, I put a little pep in my step. The wind's blowing, and umbrella be damned, I'm still getting pretty wet from all that sideways rain. An eerie feeling like I'm being followed. Jesus, it's happened enough at this point, I feel like I'm getting a sixth sense for it. I hear what sounds like someone calling out to me, but I can't make out what it is since I got my music blasting. I stop to take my headphones off and turn around and I don't see anything. Rain's beating down pretty hard. I hear what sounds like a faint voice on the wind. And then it trails off. I look around and I don't see anyone or anything. It's not so late and a couple cars pass. Start walking a bit, headphones still off now, and hear very loudly and clearly behind me.
Follow me.
I turn around quickly again, spin around a few times looking in all directions and still nothing. I walk the rest of the way home. Of course, the pouring rain completely stops as soon as I walk up to my front door. Had Phil actually showed up, we had our session, I would have walked home in the complete calm after the storm, or at least in between the bursts. Is what it is, I guess. I go in, take my wet clothes off, and get comfy in some PJs. Throw on some slippers and settle in to throw on some TV, scroll on my phone, and do a few minor chores before getting ready to call it a night. Being a smoker, it only took an hour or so before I realized, oh shit, I forgot to stop at the store on my way back. The rain and hearing whatever I did just threw me off. Well, I guess I gotta smoke one more of these things. It's either that or put real clothes back on and go to the store. And I'm feeling a little too lazy. Not quite tired yet, so I pour a Guinness can into a pint glass because, sometimes I don't drink right from the can. I'm a little fancy like that. I go in the backyard, my little fence-surrounded square of concrete, take a few sips off my Guinness, put it down on the small outdoor glass table I keep in my yard, light up the smoke, and start pacing around a bit. Chairs are all still soaked from the rain, so I don't want to sit down and have to deal with a wet pajama butt. After only a few seconds, I hear a strange sound, but I can't place where from.
Help! You help!
Wind is picking up a bit. A few water droplets start coming down from the sky. Overactive mind is getting the best of me. Best to finish this drink, smoke the rest of this, and get in and get to bed, especially before this rain picks back up. Take a few big gulps from my beer glass and leave it a little less than half full, put it back down on the table, and walk around my small yard, checking out a few of the tomato and hot pepper plants I have growing and some of my raised planters. Then I hear this. I turn to look and see my pint glass blew off the table and shattered all along the ground, just as the rain starts picking up a bit. Damn it, glass everywhere, I gotta clean this up. The cats will want out tomorrow and I don't want them accidentally stepping on any of these pieces. I go inside, grab a broom, dustpan, the trash can from the kitchen, and another Guinness. Gross cigarette still hanging out of my mouth. I try to be quick about it because I don't want to be smoking inside the house. Oh man, come on Brennan. This day's just gone to shit. Figure it out, go to bed and start over tomorrow. Tell myself as I crack my Guinness can. No longer being fancy, take a sip, put it on the table and start sweeping up the glass. While crouching down and sweeping, I hear a loud voice behind me.
Help me! Follow me!
I turn quickly and see a spectral figure of an old woman, her head tilted to the side, cloudy eyes, an unhinged jaw.
Help me now!
I jump back and fall on my ass, Thankfully, just a few inches from the glass I haven't swept up, while at the same time I see her ghostly form sucked up into the sky in the immediate direction away from me. Breathing fast and hard, I keep hearing an echoing. Oh man, so much for avoiding that wet butt. I get to my feet and run inside, realizing right as I'm about to close the door, my can of Guinness on the table was knocked over by a force I couldn't see. I settle in for a second. Oh God, is this real or am I tripping? Maybe those cigarettes are laced with something. The lights start flickering and I heard a booming. My front door flew open. Felt pulled towards it slightly. Shit, I don't know what's going on right now, but I'm not going out there like this. I threw a pair of jeans and my sneakers on. I grabbed a blade and threw it in my pocket. Made sure my phone had enough charge. No signal right now, but almost full battery. And I went outside of my front door. The rain started to come down harder again. I stepped back inside quickly and grabbed an umbrella and then stood out front of my house. I didn't hear anything and was freaking out a bit. I realized I had dropped the cigarette I was smoking in the backyard when I got spooked. Shit. All this stress and going for a walk, I'd really use another one. So dumbass that I am, I lit one of those Stockton's Blend cigarettes up. After the second drag, the smoke that came out of me was extra thick. It started swirling around and formed into the shape of the old woman from out back. It looked as though she was yelling something at me, but I couldn't hear any sound. And all of a sudden, once again, she was pulled in the same direction she had before. Not always making the smartest decision, I took off walking briskly in the direction she was pulled. As I walked, I kept hearing whispers, but I couldn't make out what they were saying. I couldn't tell exactly where they were coming from, but they seemed to be coming from the direction I was walking towards, beckoning to me. It didn't take long, about a mile or so, until I got to the part of the neighborhood where it takes a pretty quick turn from slightly dangerous to very dangerous. Thankfully, there weren't a whole lot of suspicious characters about. A few folks huddled on street corners looking like they were passed out or nodding out, just hanging out under closed business awnings. I realized that it had been a minute since I had finished my smoke, and the whispers had started to subside. I've been trying to cut down myself and usually wouldn't chain smoke, but hey, I've come this far. I light up another, and this time with the first exhale, I didn't see the lady, but the smoke flew out of me as if it was being sucked out of me in a stream of smoke rather than a cloud. It flew down the block and made a sharp left turn down an alleyway. I did as the voices commanded and kept walking briskly. I saw a couple of men walking down the street towards me from my right. I wonder if they can see the smoke stream too. Better not stop to ask in case they're looking to cause me some trouble. I turn the corner and I find myself in a narrow alleyway. Pretty dark except for a few small lights shining into the alley from atop back doors of either apartment buildings or businesses or whatever they were along the left side. The alley led to a dead end where there was a dumpster overflowing with trash, the lid half open. Slowly walked over to it, and about halfway there, I heard a rustling. Saw a dumpster shake a bit. I jumped back. I'm still smoking, but not seeing anything more out of the usual. But I start hearing footsteps, a clicking sound. Check over my shoulder to see if the guys I saw earlier are following me. I walk a few steps back and peek around the corner I came from. No one in sight. Dumpster shakes again. I still hear footsteps, but I can't tell where they're coming from. Along with that clicking sound. Walk a few steps closer to the dumpster. With the next drag of my cigarette and exhale, I see the smoke quickly form into the old woman, take shape, and begin slowly walking over to the dumpster. She gets just a few feet away, bends down. The dumpster shakes again. Out comes a cat. Big, scruffy, scraggly, orange tomcat. He looks a bit like my boy Finn, but older. Cat nuzzles up against the side of the spectral figure. She pats him on the head, lifts up her arm, and points to me. Her form quickly turns back into smoke and drifts away into the sky. The cat looks up at the smoke as it drifts away, reaches a paw at it. Once it's gone, comes and runs over to me and nuzzles against my leg. I reach down, give him a little scratch on the head. Definitely looks like he's seen some better days. Looks like he's been in more than a few fights, as he's got some patches of fur ripped out and a few scabs over his body. See, he has a collar on with a name tag. He lets me bend down, hold it out as I try to take a better look. It reads Buster. Has a telephone number on it. I reach for my phone and call the number.
Oh, hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, hey, I just found this orange cat, Buster, that has a tag on it. I saw a number and figured I'd give you a call. Is he an outside cat or is he lost?
Oh my. Yes, yeah, he's mine. Where are you?
Oh, I'm not exactly sure. I take a look around and I don't see the street signs anywhere. Just one sec. Bring up a map app on my phone and I give him the closest cross streets.
Oh my, I live on 1343 Anthony Street. Do you want me to come? Can you bring him over here to me?
I'm familiar with the cross streets, and it's about halfway from wherever I am right now back to my house. He seems pretty friendly. I'll try to pick him up and take him your way. If he gets away, I'll give you a call and let you know where he was at, if and when he gets away.
Oh, yes, good. Thank you. Please bring my boy home. I'll see you soon.
He ended the phone call. I took a good look at the map so I knew where I was going, but was pretty familiar with the cross street. I tucked my phone in my pocket, took the umbrella down, and tucked it under my arm. Then I leaned down a bit. Hey, bud, you want to go with me? I'll keep you safe and take you home. He meowed in response like he knew what I was saying. I picked him up with both arms. I needed to. He was a big boy. He curled up in my arms like a champ and cuddled against my chest. I tucked my head down to try to keep the rain off of him. Last thing I needed at this point was for him to get a big drop on his head and just go bolting. I made it to the address the man had said, and I saw that he was standing in the doorway with the door open while I was still a few houses away. He was standing there with a cane and a glass of brown liquid. I assume whiskey or some type of liquor. I saw him before he saw me, but when he did see me, I saw his eyes light up in a way that just warmed my soul. He put down his glass and the cat bolted out from my grip and went running up to him. It jumped up into his arms and he caught him, giving him a big hug. While he continued rocking back and forth with Buster, I walked up the rest of the way, and for half a minute, he didn't even notice me. When he did, he seemed like he'd just seen a demon out of hell and jumped back a bit. The cat kept nuzzling him.
Oh my, you're the one that called. You brought Buster back. Thank you so much. You have no idea how much this means to me. Come on in. Come on. Out of the rain.
I did. After all, I was soaked at this point.
Take a seat right there.
As he pointed to an old tattered sofa. As I took my seat, I saw the old man shuffle, cat in hand, out of the room, and what I presume was to his kitchen. He returned with a glass of brown liquid.
Let me give you at least a shot to thank you. Drink with me, will you?
Oh, no, you don't have to do that.
Oh, I insist. I can't believe you found him, especially out in all of this.
As he gestures towards the window with the storm beating down even stronger now. I take a sip off the glass. Can't place it exactly, but it's definitely a halfway decent scotch. Better than I usually drink. Hey, no worries. I got a couple of cats of my own. They're like my kids. I'd be terrified if I couldn't find them. He shuffled a bit to get to the Archie Bunker armchair he's got close to me and the coffee table while making a few old man sounds.
I let him get out. Buster's an inside cat. He hardly ever tried to get out for years. My wife and I had him since he was a kitten. He never really tried to get out. We had him for 12 years before she died. It's been 6 months since yesterday. Cancer.
He looked down and shook his head.
I've been a mess ever since. She never liked my drinking. This is the only way I can get through since she passed. She was my everything.
We sat in silence for a bit.
I got too drunk one night. I left the door open and he got out. When I woke up the next morning, I saw the door swinging. It took me half the day to realize he wasn't around. He's been gone for about 2 weeks. We were never able to have kids. He was the last connection I had to her. When she was close to the end, she said to me, "You'll be fine. Just take care of Buster and he'll take care of you."
He started tearing up. I did too.
When he was gone, I didn't feel like I had anything left. Thank you so much. You don't know what you've done for me.
I wanted to tell him what happened to me, but choking back my own tears and trying to keep it together, I just nodded. I said, "Hey, no problem at all. I'm sure you'd do it for me. Thanks for the drink. I gotta get out of here." I downed my whiskey, went out the door, put up my umbrella, and went back out into the night. So concludes this episode of City of Fear. It's been really hot in a lot of areas in the country. Definitely has been in mine. I'm sweating quite a bit as I gotta turn off the air to record these. I hope you're staying cool and having a great summer. Make sure to check in on your neighbors, especially your elderly neighbors. As always, if you're thriving and living your best life right now, embrace it. Be in the moment. Take everything you can from it. If you're going through a rough patch, keep kicking. Keep treading that water. Life will throw you a lifeboat at some point. Hell, maybe even a cruise ship with a fancy pool and open bar. But you gotta keep kicking. Thanks for visiting the city and listening, folks. I'll see y'all real soon.